Let's go. Men's over there. Ain't different. Listen, it's women crushing it Wednesdays. OGs hooking up in the kitchen. Call it mid range. Nike's opinions leave you kids days. Men's O's an unforgettable fighter. With a fist raised, we talking offense and defense. Cause if you get knocked out, it's all in the pretense. We put lights out like D10s. Christine, so pristine, you gotta respect the queen's gift. Just sit back and enjoy the views. Opinions are plentiful, but it's for y'all to choose. Women crushing it Wednesdays. Let's get into it. It hit different.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Women Crushing It Wednesdays. I got my girl Nika in the house. Crystal's working at Golden Gloves, so she will join us next week. Crystal, how you doing? Nika, how you doing? Crystal, you must be in the chat. Nika, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's
You doing
Wednesday,
good?
halfway through the week. You know, hope my Knicks wins tonight. But if they don't, we just need
I
one
know
more game.
you said they're not doing good.
One more game. Just one more game. One more game is all we need. One more game.
Okay, good. Come on, Knicks. One more game. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to Arte de Tere that does our thumbnails and our videos, and definitely Almighty Kane that does our intro that is so fabulous and we love so much. I'm in Austin. I had a work meeting, so setup's a little different, but all the same, we're going to keep going with the show. Nika, there's been some stuff like out in the news, on all the boxing pages, on Twitter. It's like Jake Paul is like taking over everybody's social media because you see him all the time. Today we had the press conference with Ceasar Chavez Jr. Did you get to see any of that?
No, because I was working until like 7, so I missed the actual conference. But that's why when y'all be telling me what's going on after the show, I go and watch these things because like when I'm working, I can't really like pay attention to it.
Yeah, and Holly Holmes is, and we're gonna talk about that too. So I watched clips because also, like I said, I was in a meeting today for work, and so I got to see like some highlights. And two things that was something that Chavez Jr. said was Jake has never knocked anybody out, and he won't. And then Jake Paul responded quickly, and he said, "There's two things you can't beat. It is your drug addiction and me."
Wow. Wow. So they got nasty like that. Okay. No.
It did get nasty. It did. So what are your thoughts on this fight? I mean, is this something that we really want to see? Is this something that's going to skyrocket Jake Paul, or that's going to put Junior back in the game?
I'm not a bit. Wait, hold on, because we got freestyling Adam on.
Okay.
I don't personally want to see this fight. So for me, no, it's a no. I don't personally want to see this fight, but entertainment, boxing, I guess, they're trying to give us something. D-Style.
How's it going?
So D-Style is tardy to the party. If he was walking,
I just seen you send me the link, but you sent me a bunch of other links afterwards.
If he was walking into class and I was his teacher, he would definitely have to walk right back out and go see the principal. I'm just saying.
Well,
but you know what?
Principal,
you're here now, so you're good. So we were just talking about the press conference today between Jake and Chavez Jr. Did you get to see any of that?
I got to see some of it, and look, here's my thing. Look, I think a lot of it is theater, and I know that there's some people saying, Jake was being disrespectful to Senior. Look, if you invite yourself to the circus, so don't be surprised when the clowns are treating you the way clowns treat people.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
she knocked off.
Oh,
Here she go. Hold on. There you go. For
Okay.
some reason, it's been off for a second. Okay, baby, but you came back on.
Okay,
But you
so
know what? So wait, did he said something disrespectful to the father too?
well, he said something like all
Yeah.
right, shut up, or something like that.
He said like shut the fuck, because he had, if you go to MVP's page, he had like Chavez Senior speaking, and they like made it really fast, and then he was like, shut the fuck up.
See, this is why I don't like the legends getting disrespected by these YouTube boxers. I'm not taking away from his promoting, but the boxer, I don't respect him as a boxer. That's just my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. And here he goes disrespecting a legend. So this is, all money's not good money. All money's not good money. Like Decent Style says, when you try to be part of a circus, don't be surprised if the clown buffoonery.
Yeah, and it definitely is. There's been like so much, like I was telling Nika, like the MVP Promotions has been very heavy, on social media and everywhere, because they're doing so many things as far as the promotional side. And then we have this fight coming up, and I'm just wondering, do you think that this fight with Chavez Jr. is going to skyrocket Jake Paul, or is it going to, I don't know, bring back to life Chavez Jr.'s career? Like, what is it for, and what are your thoughts on it?
D-Style.
All right, so here's my thing. This is an attempt to try to legitimize Jake Paul as a legit boxer. That's what this is, right? But at the end of the day, this is the same guy that lost to Fury's brother. I mean, that's who he is. That's where he stayed. But they found like a way around that. Not that somebody can't get better, but I mean, Chavez Jr. hasn't won a significant fight since Andy Lee, like in 2010 or something. It's been like 15 years. And even that fight, there were so many questions about it. What I will say is this: that there's something bigger about all this. There's something like at a macro level. So the bigger thing is, and ironically, Chavez Jr. is almost like a poster child of it. Is you see how like someone who's quote unquote famous and has a lot of followers and can just put themselves in a position like this where they're the A side just due to that. It's not due to merit. It's not due to accomplishment. Not what you accomplished in the ring. None of that. Well, right now, Chavez Jr. is getting the treatment he did to a lot of boxers, right? Simply because he inherited his father's name. He was the A side for so many years, right? He didn't have to follow the rules. After the Andy Lee fight, they disappeared. There was no post-fight drug test. Emmanuel Stewart was angry about that. He did that in so many other fights. There was no accountability for it. Sergio Martinez was the reigning WBC middleweight champion. They strip him just for Chavez Jr. could pick up basically the vacant belt. He was the first ever email champion, really. And this is the issue that we have. Right now, for years, every time we want to see a fight, well, what has that guy done? No one knows who he is. Bring up your profile. He has no followers on social media and all that stuff. Now it's catching up to the sport and it's making a mockery of the sport. So now Jake Paul could come in and he's the A side to Mike Tyson for some reason. He's the A side to Chavez Jr., former world champion.
An elderly Mike Tyson, not.
but like I mean, in all reality, he really was not the A side. I don't even know why Tyson even allowed that, but that's not here nor there. Like it's definitely Tyson that sold the fight, but right, Jake Paul is the poster child. It's like the Frankenstein. It's the monster that the sport created, right? So now you could get like these YouTube fights in sold out arenas in the UK and in some cases sell more than some of the legitimate boxing matches. You have YouTubers that make more money than world champions, and we can get mad at that all we want, right? We could get upset at that, but what is that?
Are you talking about the misfit stuff, like
the misfit stuff and like you see like what's going on, but just in general, like I've seen like YouTubers versus TikTokers, and these sort of nowhere near at the level of caliber of fighters like actual legitimate boxers are. but in many cases they're making more money than the actual legitimate boxers, and all we hear is, well, it's because people know who they are and they got more followers on social media. Well, this is the monster that you created.
So
Jake Paul,
do you
he's a
feel
poster child.
this is just where we're at right now, or do you feel like that is the future?
No, but Christine, that is, it's where we are now, and if nothing changes, that's the future, and it's only going to get worse.
So, in
Like,
your opinion, what does need to change? Like, what needs to change? Because look, we all know money talks, bullshit walks, right?
mm-hmm.
So, as long as Jake Paul can keep putting this money in people's pockets, it won't stop. You know, I mean,
Okay,
we
but what I'm
just saw a video, and I just saw a video recently, the other day, where he says that Bud made his best, and he said he wanted to fight Bud, and he said he would fight Shannon Sharp too, and he has the 200 million because Shannon Sharp had asked Bud, "Hey, would you fight Jake Paul?" He's like, oh. He's like, "What if he offered you $200 million?" Yeah, I'll fight him. So then after that, here comes Jake Paul, made the video. Okay, your list, and I got your 200 mil. So as long as money is not an issue, I think we're going to continue to see this.
So the issue is, Christine, is right now with this fight, they're trying to legitimize Jake Paul, right? That's what the whole purpose of this is right now.
He's going and he's scraping in the barrel.
But my thing is, we have to understand what merit is. And is he the name he is in boxing due to merit, or is it just because he's known a lot, like because he's popular on social media and he has a big platform?
The answer to that,
right? Exactly. So what I'm telling you, but this is what I'm telling you though. Yeah. What I'm telling you, Christine, this was Jake Paul didn't just walk in and just do this, right?
Right.
The stars aligned over the years. Right. Sure. So when I would say something like, "Hey, why doesn't this guy get a shot?" Oh, no one knows who he is. Who is he? He's a no name. And like, that type of attitude is what put the sport of boxing where it is right now.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So let me ask you. So Nika, do you feel like people that have followed Paul like before even boxing and are starting to get interested because of him, are thinking, well, damn. I mean, if he can do it, anybody can do it. It takes much to be a boxer. Do you think people are getting like the wrong idea?
Yeah, some people are, yeah, and it's gonna take somebody to get seriously hurt. Seriously hurt. Like, I don't even want to say like what kind of hurt, but just get caps on. But somebody's gonna have to get real hurt so they can stop playing with these little YouTubers trying to come in there fight real fighters. Give the money to the boxer.
But you know what the problem is?
Their life for it.
Like here's the problem. When Jake Paul was going to fight, what's Tyson Fury's brother's name? Tommy Fury.
Tommy, yeah.
So when he was going to fight him, Mauricio Suleiman comes out, sloppy Suleiman, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we're the winner of this fight. They're going to get a ranking." Right, when everyone knew that neither one of them is a top 15 cruiserweight in the world.
Yeah,
like, everybody knew this, but they were going to give Jake Paul, not Tommy. Tommy didn't get he beat Jake Paul. He didn't get the ranking. He was going to put Jake Paul in the ranking. The WBA president comes out and he's like, "Oh yeah, I could definitely see a world title shot for Jake Paul in the near future." And then again, with no merit, nothing, because money talks, right? You throw coins in the floor for these sanctioning bodies, they'll dive for them. You know what I mean? Like they'll dive like a gold medalist diver, like right there, right on the ground.
Well, I mean, that's in the climate right now is that a lot of people are saying they don't even want to have the same bodies involved. Like they want to do away with all the belts. I mean, look at Uncle Turk. He wants to do away with all the sanctioning bodies, and they're trying to hold on to that because, yes, they do get money. They do. I know that, I don't know how they use it. I know they use it to do their conventions and blah, 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 but they do get a lot of money. So.
Yeah, but the point of the sanctioning bodies is to separate merit from like the guys that make money or get all the.
It's supposed to. Yeah,
but they don't.
It is supposed to.
Right.
But now, like in the beginning, I was just like, no, we're not going to, I don't want to do away with the sanctioning bodies. Like these belts have been around and we won them and this and that. And then I saw how Uncle Turk was like, well, we'll just have the ring belt and then whatever championship belt, whatever. So I was like, He just wants to, collect all the money, the percentages. But if we're going to make the sanctioning bodies a joke, then yeah, I mean, I don't see a reason for them, because you had to like fight your heart out and you had to put everything on the line. These belts, they don't come easy. But if people are just passing out like Skittles,
but they come easier if you have some type of profile or some type of big name on social media, and they feel they can make money off of you. It comes a lot easier for you than they were not. And the problem is that separating merit from the social media aspect, like the social media boxers, it's starting to become like the more of a gray area. And when them trying to legitimize Jake Paul, I mean, we watch boxing, we understand that Jake Paul can go in there and fight a Joe Opataya or something like Opataya or something like that. Right. We know that, but the general public doesn't know that. Like the general public is looking at this and they're saying to themselves, how is this YouTuber like just going into the sport of boxing and embarrassing the sport and making fun of Mike Tyson and making fun of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and his father? And
what they see is him calling out all the top boxers regardless of the weight class. He says, I want the best of the best. And you know what? Maybe he does.
He's making a joke out of it. To me, when he's like promoter aside, as a boxer, to me, he's making a joke of it, because he could just be like, look how I get this fight, because he's flashing his money around. He's pushing his money around. Let's just be real. He's pushing his money around, and he knows that everybody has a price. So, if I call out this guy,
You know what's funny? Because look, I of course I appreciate what he's doing, especially for women's boxing, because
absolutely,
at least he's doing something.
Promoter aside.
But here's the thing. But here's the but, right? But I notice things. Like when they're having a press conference and he's going up to Katie Taylor and he's like, well, you want to bet your whole purse on the fact I'm going to knock out Mike Tyson? And like, I make more today than what you're going to make in this purse, in his money. Like, he's making fun of these fighters that they don't make much money, and he's throwing it in their face. And like, it's just that's what it is. I mean, I see it, like, and it's whatever to me, but I mean
it's no secret that he is a little cocky. There's no secret.
I remember when he was making fun of everyday folk, making fun of people who had 9 to 5s. That's when I was just like,
but I do, however, I do think he's making boxing look like a clown show, right? Like, that saying, you don't play boxing, which is true. Sure. But like, he's playing boxing right now. He's playing the sport right now, and he's getting away with it, and they're letting him get away with it.
So do y'all feel, Nike, I'll start with you. So do you feel like the audience that usually tunes into boxing is starting to shift? Like, there's going to be a new wave of supporters and fans because of Jake Paul?
Not real fans, no. I mean, these YouTubers and stuff, they'll watch streamers all freaking day from sun up to sundown. So, like, I don't think that these people are falling in love with boxing. Like, I don't feel like he's bringing in like real fans that are gonna love the sport. He just has his YouTube audience, and they like entertainment. They like the clown show. They love that shit. That's why they love him. So that's the audience that he has. But I don't think he's bringing in real boxing fans. No, absolutely not.
What do you think? Because I think right now, like, none of the hardcore boxing fans are ready to walk away. It's like, you know what? This is what it is. I'm not willing to walk away whether I support him or not. And then we have a whole new generation and new fans. Do you think that it is helping the sport in a way because we do have so many more eyes on the sport, or no?
Like, do I think someone who never watched boxing before, like let's just say there's someone out there that doesn't like the sport, or they just never watched it? No, I don't think someone's going to be like, oh man, Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Oh man, I'm really going to get into this. Like, this is what it's all about right here. Yeah. Like, I just don't. I do look boxing fans. They're gonna watch out of curiosity, whether they admit it or not. They're gonna watch, and deep down, mostly out there, that you want Chávez Jr. to knock this dude out, right? Like it's. I just believe that, right? But my thing is, you can make long term damage to the reputation of a sport, right? Because let's be honest, this wouldn't be happening in any other legitimate sport. It wouldn't happen in the NFL. It wouldn't happen in the NBA. There's not going to be an equivalent of a Jake Paul playing in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Like it just wouldn't happen. Like it wouldn't happen in any other sport, really. Now I understand all sports are different, right? But I mean, I'm getting people like at my work or just people I know in general just asking me like, how is this guy like one of the biggest names in your sport? Like, is boxing becoming a joke? Like that is the sense that people get in our reality. I think he is hurting the credibility of the sport, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think,
As
I think,
because the promoting side with the women, he's doing a great job. I'll give him
yes.
that. But for me, he's making a mockery of boxing. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I think as my earlier statement and point was like, so is he, and I believe he is he showing the world that like anybody can box? Like, so it discredits like everything that these boxers do to get prepared for fights and the life that they live. Because he's showing people that anybody can just jump in the ring and box. And that is going to get someone hurt, in my opinion. What are your all's thoughts on that?
I just don't think he's any different to, let's say, a guy that was working in construction and he picked up the sport. He happens to be kind of good at it and then starts to, but it's just that those guys aren't on pay-per-views and they're not boxing MMA guys, and they got to work their way up a different way. Like he's not the first guy that picked up the sport of boxing late. Winky Wright started at the age of 18. Like Antonio Tarver started at a very late age, and they had other professions, right? Whatever. It's just that it does sound a little goofy that he used to be like a Disney kid and had a YouTube channel. I get all that, but the thing is, to me, it's really the attitude, and it's the attention he's gotten, and the way they're promoting the events. I mean, I just think it kind of makes a mockery of the sport. That's how I feel.
Nika,
I gotta go back and watch the press conference because see you out here disrespecting the legends. To me, he's just like a guy with a lot of money, a rich kid, and be like, you know what? I think I could whip one of those guys. Just throw some money at them, and the YouTubers, they're gonna eat it up, and that's what happened.
I mean, no doubt he's worked hard to get his name there and to, as far as his career with boxing, no doubt that he worked really hard. I think the thing that I'm worried about is that he's sending a message that anybody can get in the ring. They can, train for 4 to 6 weeks, and they can fight these top, either present, future, or past champions. I mean, there's talk that he stated out of his mouth that he and Tank are working behind the scenes, for their fight in November. First of all, there's weight classes for a reason, but whatever. Both parties have to agree. But I think that he's sending a message to young kids and young adults that are aspiring to be boxers that you can be a boxer. Just go and jump in the ring and punch, with a little bit of training. And I've seen it time again over the years that somebody that just walks into the gym and they're like, oh, I want to be a pro boxer, or I want to do this, and I'll spar anybody. That there's so much more to it. There's so much more to it, and they end up getting hurt.
Honestly, I think it's false hope because he's not just any boxer that's going in there. He is a boxer with money. Because even real boxers don't get fights. So no, it's just anybody can do it if you have money. Money.
Somebody just said in the chat, and I agree. He's a prospect with the bag. That's what he is. You know what I mean? Yeah. Plenty of prospects right now can get this version of Chávez Jr. to work. Like plenty of them. They're out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just that he's the one that could make it rain on Chávez Jr. and Chávez Jr. will take the fight.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
That's what it is.
We can't even give real boxers to get fights, so it ain't gonna happen like that.
All you guys gotta look at Chavez Jr.'s resume. Last like few fights, there's a lot of red there, a lot of
There is,
losses.
yeah, there is. And I'm not downing him. I'm not downing him for wanting to on boxing, and he's actually putting in the work and he's training. I'm not downing him. I just think that because he has so much money and so much clout, obviously you use it. I mean, who wouldn't? But he's just sending a wrong message. And there's a lot of kids in my gym that are like, oh, well, Jake, if Paul can do it, I can too. And it's a false message. It really is.
Well, can I just say one thing? He's really good at making it seem like it's whatever to him. But I mean, he's obviously training hard and he can fight. Like I'm not going to sit here and act like he can't fight.
Yes, absolutely.
So he's obviously been working hard, and the people that worked with him have said that, right?
Yeah.
And so, but the thing is that he's working hard behind the scenes, but then he acts like it's just a piece of cake. This is nothing to me, or whatever. And I think that's the persona aspect of it. But look, make no mistake, all boxers work hard, right? They all train their asses off, all of them.
Yes.
But he has the money to maneuver in a way that most prospects can't. That's the reality.
Yeah, because if you said that they were gonna like sanction a fight, like and like make it a title, but they didn't even move Fury up when he actually won. See, that don't make sense. It don't make sense. So, you gotta have money. You gotta have money.
Yeah. Deontay Boom said, funny you mentioned that, Christine. He said that that's his goal in the Pro City. I didn't get to see that because I was working, but so if he said his goal was to show that anybody can box, I'm not saying that what I'm saying is that it takes preparation and dedication and a lifestyle change. You can't just walk to a gym with a bag full of money and say, hey, I'm going to fight an ex-world champ or a future champ or a current champ and pay somebody to train you, because that's just not reality. And I think that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that anybody can train and anybody can box. Not everybody can become champions on their own merit, and fight people when they need to, when the careers are both, at a peak, So I don't know. It's
Jake Paul knows. Look, Jake Paul knows he can't fight the top guys. He knows this, right?
Like, he's scraping the barrel, man. He's scraping the barrel.
But the thing is, he knows. Like deep down, a lot of people just want to see him get knocked the fuck out. But he knows this, right?
Yeah.
And he's gonna milk it till the cows come home. He's going.
He's a businessman. Sure.
So he's a businessman. He's a good businessman.
It's going to be a slow. Maybe one day we'll get the payoff and we'll see him get knocked the hell out. But it's not going to be until he accomplishes what he wants to accomplish first, right? He's going to use leverage, it comes with the money. He's going to leverage himself to give himself all the opportunities in the world, right? And that's what he's going to do. Like it just is what it is. What I will say is this. As much as I disliked the fact that they threw James Toney in the octagon with Randy Couture, I thought that at the time anyway, I thought, what the hell are they doing? But now I understand it, right? So, and the reason I understand it is, well, they just made an example out of him so people could stop mocking their sport, right?
Yeah.
So, in the sport of boxing, it doesn't have an apparatus to just do that. Like if somebody just like the way he's talking, they would have thrown him in there with a legitimate boxer. This would have been over a long, long time ago. But here we are.
Well, the thing is, he is calling out legit boxers. Like he's calling out Bud Crawford and he's calling out Tank Davis. But the thing that we have to see is that the weight classes are way different. So he is showing people that maybe are not as invested or knowledgeable about the sport that, hey, I'm calling out the best. I'm calling out, Tank Davis, the face of boxing.
But you know why that works, Christine?
Because the people that don't know boxing, like they don't know that.
Like I've tuned into I
agree.
I've tuned into ESPN, and I've heard like analysts like that cover basketball say things like, "Man, I would really love to see Lomachenko versus Canelo," right? Like
Yeah,
just the way people
stupid.
that just don't understand that there's a big difference in his weight classes, right? And so that's why it works. But look who's calling it. Why does it call Jai Opataya?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know, but we have to like. Oh, he also called out Anthony Joshua. But my point is that he is calling out people that he's not going to fight. Well, I mean, if November,
Yeah,
maybe Tank
because
and
the
PR.
people he's
But
calling out
he's
are not
calling
going to
out
fight
Tank.
him.
He's calling out Tank. I weigh more than Tank. So let's be for real. Let's be
Yeah,
for real.
yeah.
Let's
Well,
be fucking for real.
maybe not when he's not fighting, right? But, um,
I
but
weigh
like,
2 of Tank.
well, there you go.
Yeah,
But
no,
like he's calling,
seriously.
like Christine, I get what you're saying. He's calling out names, but like he knows that Anthony Joshua is not going to stoop to that level and fight
Right.
Jake Paul. Like he
Yeah,
knows he's
but
not going to do that.
But what I'm saying is that like casual fans that don't really know the sport of boxing or know about the weight classes, like you said, somebody's asking, how come Canelo doesn't fight Lomachenko or whatever? Because they don't really understand. I mean, on TV, everybody looks big and buff and cut up, and so they don't really understand. So he's also gaining a lot of head because of that. Because I'm calling out the greats. I'm calling out all the
If Anthony
champions.
Joshua fought Jake Paul, what would everybody be saying about Anthony Joshua?
But you
I
know what?
mean,
This is like, it really is for people who don't know boxing, because I remember in a space one day somebody came in there, it was a lady, and some people are just fans of boxers, not boxing. So
yeah, sure.
and she was just like, man, Tank could beat it was somebody that was way out of his level. Why haven't Tank fight so and so? And I was like, get this bitch on, right? I was like, she don't know what you talking about.
Yeah, it happens.
So bad, and she don't even know why he can't fight this heavyweight. Like, girl, shut up. So yeah,
But
Paul has those kind
the
of
thing
fans.
is, the plan that Jake Paul had and the thing that he wants to do is exactly what is being done. Right now, we're on live and we're talking about Jake Paul. And we have people tuned in, and people are intrigued whether they like him or not. Like you said, they want to see him get knocked out or they want to see him win.
But here's the thing. Are we talking about it because it's so intriguing that we need to? Or are we just talking about it because that's what we do? We cover the sport of boxing, and this is the story of the day.
Regardless, we're talking about him. And then, we've talked about before, we love the promotional stuff that he's doing for these women. I mean, he just signed 2 more women, like Chantelle Cameron and Savannah Marshall. Huge names.
Yeah.
He's cleaning it up. And then his girl, Shadesha Green, is set to fight Savannah. I think it's June. I believe it's June. Savannah has only lost to Clarissa. Shadesha has only lost to Franchon. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's going to be the talk of the town, but he's also going to do his good work with the women.
I got no complaints about his promotion of women's boxing.
Yeah, that's what we said. Promotion.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
Like maybe he needs to like calm down when he throws the money in their face, and like maybe he needs to calm down about that. But other than that, I think it's doing great.
But the thing is, we don't know how much money he has. So if he's throwing it out there, that's not like a smidgen of what he has to throw out. I believe that he wants to wrap up the whole women's, boxing and want. Like nobody else took a chance.
Nobody else has plans for them, so that's
Yeah, nobody else took a chance. Everybody said there was no money for boxing. Turkey's not touching women, literally.
Well, we know why that's not.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So I mean, I give all the props. But I wanted to talk about. So we just saw that Holly Holm is coming out of retirement. She hasn't fought since 2013. 2013, y'all.
I love it.
We're in 2025.
I love it. And I'll tell you why.
So, Jake obviously tapped her on her shoulder and said, let's do this.
I love it.
What are y'all's thoughts on?
I love it. Look, a former pound for pound best in the world. That's how she left the sport. She left the sport because this sport was giving her crumbs. It wasn't giving her shit. All the accomplishments she had, she got nothing. And she was forced to go to another sport, the UFC, where she actually became a world champion. And you think about it, all the times we hear all these boxers, they could never go to UFC. Blah, 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 blah. Well, she did it. And she knocked out, what's her name? Ronda Rousey was the biggest name at the time.
It was beautiful. I
Right?
loved it. The end
She
of
gave her,
Ronda.
and this was, by the way, when just to show you how disrespectful this sport in general has been to women boxers, right? I don't think there was ever a woman boxer on the Ring magazine cover ever. And I'm talking Layla Ali. We're talking, I mean, maybe Christian Martin was on it, maybe,
Well,
right?
I
But
don't know.
but the Ring magazine, they put Ronda Rousey
That was
on the
crazy.
Ring magazine cover where the title is Boxing Next, right? And this was right before, and Ronda Rousey was running her mouth saying, you know, I would rather box Holly Holm because it's really not a challenge for me in the octagon, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, she kicked her ass in the octagon. So she's actually, Holly Holm is the only fighter ever to be a world champion in boxing and in the UFC. She's the only fighter in history to do that, right? Now, I know there's a lot of people saying, oh, what, she's just going to come back to the sport. Yeah, why not? She is a Hall of Fame boxer who left the sport because the sport wasn't giving her anything monetarily.
Yeah,
she had to go to another sport.
It was horrible.
So if she could come back and get a bag in boxing and do what was her first craft, even though she's out of her prime, why not? I'm all for it. If Manny Pacquiao could do it, shit, why can't she do it?
Well, yeah, and the thing is, 38 for women in boxing is not old.
Well, she's 43, I think. Isn't she 43?
Don't age her. She's 38. Don't do that.
Isn't she? I could have sworn she's in her 40s.
Don't do her like that. Micah, what thoughts on Holly coming back?
You know, I'm not mad at it. If anybody deserves money that's being thrown around, she deserves it. That's why, at least I said she wasn't making money in boxing, so she went elsewhere. So I'm not mad. I'm okay with that.
Me neither.
By the way, I'm not aging her. She is 43.
She is 43. Oh, yeah. Okay, my bad.
But listen, I'm 44. So
she looks 38. She looks marvelous. Nobody can touch Nika though. Nika, she looks amazing. But I tried to do some research on Vega. There's not much out there. I know she has 10 fights. Holly has 33, which I think, you know what, coming back after, you know, how many years is that from 2013 to now? It's fair. You know, this girl's fresh. But
she is active though. Like, she's an active fighter. I know it's not boxing, but she's been active. She's training.
And I'm boxing because that's what we do here. We talk boxing. But
I know. But I'm just saying.
My point is that I'm not mad at the fact that Vega has 10 fights. You know. And that Holly will face her, because I think it's going to be a true test to both of these women. Mm-hmm. And I'm here to see it, so I'm not mad at it at all.
Plus, she's from the Southwest, you know, so.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I got you. So, Savannah Marshall and Shadaysha Green, talk to me about y'all's fight. Y'all's thoughts on the fight.
Savannah wins that fight, hands down.
Who does?
Savannah.
Savannah?
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
I think so too.
So
I don't even think it's a tough fight.
It is. It's a tough fight. But
you know, quick.
8 rounds to 2, Savannah.
Yes.
Shadaysha was Jake's girl before Savannah.
Now he feed.
Look. Shadaysha's tough. I'll give her that. She's tough. But she's solid. But Savannah's just another level to me. I think the only person that can beat Savannah is Chris Shields.
Yeah, I believe Savannah has a lot more of a boxing IQ than Green. That doesn't mean that Green won't win, because all it takes is one punch, and if Green is heavy-handed,
it could be her night. It could be her night. If they're asking us to choose who we think we're off of right now, I just feel like
Savannah can crack too, though. Like,
no, she can.
They both can crack, but like Savannah is just a better boxer, in my opinion.
HOD said if 42-year-old prospect Danielle was able to take the wink quote full 10 rounds, I feel 43 Holmes is going to be okay. First of all, don't disrespect my girl Danielle because she was very strong and she wasn't. Nobody knows that, but she really was. Um, so we've talked about that, but something that's been kind of crazy was that, and I don't know where this came from, but Ring Magazine had put out that they were moving Crawford Canelo from September 12th to the 13th.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, you know what, is this to like throw off promoters for that coveted Mexican Independence Day? Like, why all the switch back and forth, in y'all's opinion, was that happening?
Look, from my understanding, I could be wrong about this, but I believe Allegiant Stadium already has a college game that weekend, which is why it never made sense that they were announcing Crawford Canelo in that stadium to begin anywhere during that weekend. That's number one. Now I could be wrong about it, but I believe that was the case. Anybody could fact check that if they want.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It was strange that they announced it for a Friday.
Yeah.
When you have this big Mexican name,
yeah,
against possibly the number one pound for pound fighter in the sport, this mega fight, and you're going to put it on a Friday when it's like that much. Like, do you not want the Mexican fan base to show up for that Mexican Independence Day weekend?
But D-Style, was it not strange too? Whenever Canelo was in front of Uncle Turk, and Uncle Turk said, "Do not bring your belts on stage." I mean, there's been a lot of strange things going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of strange things,
Daddy said no.
But I think what's happening here, this wouldn't be the first time that Turkey puts out a fault. Because here's the thing, and I don't really like this aspect of it. This guy controls part of the media, like the Ring magazine.
Absolutely
is media, and this wouldn't be the first time that he's putting out a false story to get people talking, and then he switches it around.
Exactly.
Like this is like media manipulation is what he's doing.
Absolutely.
And the crazy part about it is there's no like, other than I just get to fuck with y'all. Other than that, there's no real incentive for him to do it. Like, what does he get out of it? Like, how is it going to help the event? It isn't. Like, it's crazy to me. But what they should have been doing with this fight to begin with from the very beginning is bid it out to cities and see who bids the most for it. That's what they've always should have done. So we're going to see what happens with that. So.
Yeah, what do you think they were thinking when they were like going back and forth? I mean, now some spokesperson, I forget, they don't even know who it is. Some spokesperson says that no, it is going to be on the it is going to be a boxing official. They don't name the official. Says no, it will be on Friday. What do you think they were trying to accomplish by confusing the masses on the date? I mean, some people have already gotten their hotel room. Hello.
Yeah, no, see that this is Dana White. He's in charge of all of them. He don't know what he's doing. He don't know what he's doing. And it's starting to look that way. This is what I was thinking, and now he's kind of confirming.
No, but Turkey admitted
Vegas anymore if it's gonna be on this day, and people did book rooms and flights, so that it was too much. But I agree with D-Style, like you said. It was like he made a good point because they put out false information before, and to their own writers too.
Yeah.
And then switch it like, oh, it was a lie, no,
yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? Like, get out of the sport. I don't like what he's doing.
Look, he's almost hinted at one point. I'm trying to remember the story. It was like two months ago or so, where Turkey came out and said, "Oh yeah, I was just putting out information out there to see what people said," and it's like, well, what are you doing, bro? What is that about? And he uses Compinger to do it, and everyone's used to Compinger doing it anyway. Right, so like he uses Compinger to go do it, but the whole thing is just strange to me. But I just think
didn't Compinger get like let go, whatever said,
No, but you look, this is another what D-Style was saying. They promoted the fight in New York was gonna be an outside event. Everybody was gonna be able to watch it. People flew out there.
Yeah.
The big red wall around it.
Yeah.
Like, God Gotcha again. Gotcha, you stupid motherfucker. Gotcha again. You thought there was gonna be a big old fight in the middle of Times Square.
No. By the way, people keep saying, "Oh, they had no choice but to do that," but that's not true. There was amateur wrestling events in Times Square that was open to the public. They could have done
That's
that.
crazy.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
He's doing what he wants. He's playing with boxing. Is this something fun? This is something
He's
fun for him
starting to
do
really
right
play
now?
games, mind games.
Something fun for him to do.
No, but I could explain that one a little. I have a theory about that one. It's I think the reason he closed it off is because, you know, he's this rich dude from Saudi Arabia. He doesn't want to invite the peasants to come watch as well. It's only him and his friends and his crew that they get to watch it. That's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
but why? The way they promoted it, because I watched the clip again, like the promotion video was beautiful. I must say, it looked like it was going to be a great event outside in Times Square. Everybody's going to be out there cheering. Red wall, can't get by. You go over there down the street. You go down the street. You go watch the fight over there in front of that screen. He hosted a big watch party outside in New York. That's what he did. He hosted a watch party.
Yeah.
And then his good friends, they got to get inside the red wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. The peasants weren't allowed in.
Friends he wanted, absolutely.
And I know this is petty, and I don't know. Maybe it's inappropriate to say this.
Sometimes it's okay.
Well, like maybe it's inappropriate to say this because here I am in a panel with women. But look, I'm just going to be honest with you. So, can we just bring back the ring girls? Can we just have traditional, beautiful ring girls holding the cards?
You got to talk to Turkey. I don't think Turkey likes looking.
Do we need red Deadpool and dudes in Halloween costumes and Alma holding cards? Do we need that?
Didn't we have like Ed Sheeran on one?
Because I keep hearing, oh no, it's their culture. You got to respect their culture, right? Because apparently they see a half naked woman.
And then getting rid of shit. You know what? I forgot about the ring girls.
But what about like? But here's what I want to say. So they keep talking about the respect their culture. What about our culture?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Respect our culture. That's right.
You do that in Saudi and stay over there with that. In America,
and then I want you to think about. I want you
bring girls in America, okay?
But
I want you to think about what is Cinco de Mayo really, right? Because they don't really celebrate Cinco de Mayo like that in Mexico. They really don't.
No, they don't.
But it's an excuse to get drunk and party. Absolutely. That's what Cinco de Mayo is about,
and
right?
Mexican food.
And there's a Mexican theme to it, right? It's about the party. That's what it's about, right?
Yes.
But they have Cinco de Mayo, like over there in Saudi, it was like dead. There was no celebration.
So dead.
It's like the antithesis of Cinco de Mayo, right?
Yeah.
They're not allowed to have like Canelo has like great sponsorships with Hennessy, and like he can't use the sponsorships because they're against alcohol. What are we doing, bro?
That's true. That's true. I feel you.
It was so dead for Cinco de Mayo. It really was. And then he really just took boxing and remixed the shit for him and his friends.
Yeah. I mean, it was a private party, a private showing for his friends. Absolutely. I want to change gears just a little bit. I want to give a shout out to Boxing and Barbecue. That's where I first saw the news, so that's why I'm giving them the shout out. But so PBC has blocked off the T-Mobile Arena for August 16th. So, what do y'all think is going on August 16th?
I think looks like it hurts people and whispers online that the rematch for Tank and Lamar Roach.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, D-Style?
That makes sense. So we already know the date for the Pacquiao Barrios fight, and we know the date for the.
Yeah.
That's the only one I think. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it is too. But so thinking just like in the Cinco de Mayo fatal Fury situation, we had two boxers, that were looking, Ryan Garcia and Haney, that were looking past their opponents, and we see what happened. Now with this Jake Paul talk that in November, that he and Ceasar are talking about something in November, do you think that again Tank is looking past Roach? Anybody?
If he is, look, if he is, then I mean, look, I thought Roach won that fight. So
Yeah, he
like
did.
I scored it for him, and if they would have rightfully called the, like I feel Roach won the fight 3 times,
Yeah,
right?
same.
I
Yeah,
felt Tank quit, right? I felt Tank should have been disqualified after what his
yeah.
trainer did, and I felt Roach won the fight by decision. So I felt he beat him 3 times, right?
Hmm.
I jokingly say that, but I it is what it is, right?
Yeah, for sure.
If he takes a dude that arguably beat him lightly, then Tank's an idiot at that point. I
Yeah,
don't think Tank's an idiot. I think he's going to take this fight serious, unless he believes his own hype that he really wanted to fight. Like, you know what I mean? I
yeah.
don't know.
And can he believe his own hype? I mean, mentally, does he have the capacity, the strength to believe his own hype? You know, I don't know. I question the mental state of Tank. I really do. Nika, do you think that by even Jake Paul talking about the conversations that he and Tank having, that he's looking past Roach again?
I don't think he's gonna look past Roach again. But you know, that's what all these fighters do. They be trying to have their businesses down the line, so they make any money. And this fight was
Yeah.
already supposed to be like the next thing, but you know, since
Yeah.
the way the last fight went, it just kind of threw a monkey wrench in the plans. But
Absolutely. Yeah.
you know, they still gonna have their discussions because that money is there. That money
Yeah,
is there for
it's
taking.
definitely there. And people
But
want to
I
see
don't
it.
think he's gonna overlook past Lamont. I think he see what happened in the first fight. I don't think he's gonna overlook Lamont.
Do you
I know
think
he's
he's gonna?
definitely
Is he going to put the
concerned about his
grease in his hair?
He
No
probably
grease thing.
he might cut his hair off.
Yeah, there
For the
you go. He
fight.
might shave his head and make a statement. You
Yeah.
never know. So the last topic I want to kind of touch on, and Disa, you talked about this a lot, like you want like a commission or you want rules as far as like too much hugging during a fight. And now a new subject has come up recently about the running. You know, so people are saying we need rules against the holding, the hugging, and we need also rules against the running. Tell me your thoughts on that conversation.
I think you could put all that together, but just calling it stalling, right? If you're stalling the fight, whether it's by holding, whether it's by avoiding engagement for long periods of time, then yeah, like I do. Like I don't think it has to be that. It's just not that difficult. Like if a ref just starts telling guys, "Hey, stop doing that," if you keep doing that, I'm going to take a point. And if guys start losing a point for doing it, then they're going to stop doing it. Now, people could tell me all day, look, if you personal of holding, there's some great sports out, combative sports where there's holding allowed, right? Like there's Muay Thai, there's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you know, there's amateur wrestling. If you want to knock yourself out with grappling and holding, there's that, right? If you want to see running, I mean, we have track stars, we have marathons. We got sports for that where dudes are amazing at that. If you want to see fencing, that sport exists, right? If you want to watch tag, a game of tag for 12 rounds, knock yourselves out. But this is supposed to be about, beating up your opponent. That's what boxing is supposed to be. That's how it was founded, right? Mm-hmm. From the very beginning, before the government got involved, this sport was about who is the last man standing, right? That's it. It wasn't about who could outpoint who. And if you want to do that in the amateurs, cool. But I'm going to be honest with you. I went to Colorado a couple of months ago. I didn't see that much running even in the amateurs. I just didn't. They actually fought more than what I saw William Skull do, right? Like at the end of the day, there's guys that just overdo it. And don't get me wrong, I love good boxers. I love guys that stick and move and can use the ring properly and use angles. I think that's a beautiful way to box, but it's called stick and move. It's not called move. Stick once in a while, then move. No, it's stick and move, right? You need to engage. Now, when I say engage, it doesn't mean trade. It doesn't mean rock'em sock'em. I'll take it back to what Tiara Brown said, before a fight with Sky Nicholson. She said, it's not about rock'em sock'em, but at some point you need to engage, Sky. At some point you got to fight, right? Absolutely. So, I think people confuse when I, not just me, but just people in general say, hey, we're tired of the running, right? let me make this very clear. I understand there's people out there that just don't understand the sport and they call everything running, right? I get that. But what Skull did in particular, even Haney against Ramirez, was just a bit much, right? And nobody wants to watch it. No one can tell me with a straight face, oh yeah, I enjoyed watching that. And you know how I know? Because those two fights broke the record. They broke records for the least amount of punches landed and thrown. And you have to blame the negative fighters, the ones that are completely neglecting the fight altogether. All right? And to all the dudes out there that want to defend it, look, if a dude slapped your girl in the ass right in front of you and you started to fight like that, staying away from the guy, right, until he got frustrated and left, she's not going to feel like you defended her honor. Let's just be honest, okay? That's not fighting. It's a game of tag. Hey, baby, you see how he couldn't cut off the parking lot? He never caught up to me. He left frustrated. Okay.
Right. And he quit. He ran out of gas. Nika, do you agree? Like, should there be some regulations or something different in boxing to stop all the running or the holding?
I mean, they need to enforce the taking the points away when the refs, like, you know, warn them. I feel like it should be called like a delay of fight, like in basketball games, like a delay a game or whatever. It should be like delay of fight. Take a point.
Yeah.
So,
I'm glad Nika brought up basketball because the shot clock didn't always exist.
You know, my Knicks lost. I'm like, oh Lord. Oh. We just need one more game, y'all. But yes,
you know the shot clock.
They do say delay a game. So in boxing, I feel like if you're doing it, they should. Yeah, because we don't pay to see people like run around the ring. It's true. Like I personally do not enjoy fights like that. Some people try to spin and be like, no, that's what starts boxing. No.
Look, I love it when people say hit and not get hit. I agree.
Yeah.
But there's a hit and then not get hit. Like it's not a not get hit. I'm going to stay away from you. I'm going to stay away. I'm going to say, okay, Ty, you're it, and then get away. That's not what it is.
So the way I see it is we don't need new rules. We don't need like a new commission to monitor whatever. I think what we need is for our referees to do their job. You know, when you're not engaging and you see some referees saying, okay, you need to box, you know, you need to get in there and box, or they call like holding one more time in a point. So I think, in my opinion, that it's the referee's responsibility to really enforce the rules that they have been taught. And then,
but there's no rule though for like just kind of like running around though. That's what I'm saying.
No. There is a engage. Like when you're not boxing or engaging in the fight for so long, then they'll say, okay, you need to engage. Y'all need to box. They will call that. The thing is this: when you have A side, B side, even though they say, you know, the promoters stay away and whoever wins, whatever. I'm wondering in the back of their mind, they're like, well, homeboy's supposed to win and he's the one running or holding. So I don't know, should I get in between that? Because you know what, I'm making some money and I'm on TV and I'm not trying to lose my spot. So there's so much. To me, there's just so many different things that are going on. Because
you want to know what my issue is with holding, and I'll lay it out for you. And it's you touched on it a lot now because it does matter A side, B side, but that's the issue. So there's no like universal understanding of what gets done when there's holding. It all depends on the referee, right?
Yeah.
In one fight, a ref could break it up right away. Right, as soon as they're holding, they break it right away. They don't even let the guys work on the inside.
To their discretion, sure.
Right, so the discretion area is way too gray.
But that's right. Is the discretion according to who's supposed to win that night? Is my point.
Yeah, like the rule, whatever the rule. Like the A-side fight, does it benefit him when there's holding or no holding, and they'll act accordingly. I agree with you.
Exactly. I mean, how many times did we see when Haney was doing both, when he was running around the ring, which is so excessive, and then when he did get inside, he would punch and immediately hold. So he was doing both. You know,
Yeah,
but the rematch was supposed to be the bigger, sweeter thing because Ryan was supposed to win too. So, you know, that's what I'm talking about.
Because here's the thing, and I agree with everything you're saying. I'm just adding to what you're saying. When my issue with guys that hold, right, is this. It seems to me, like, let's say there's a fighter that likes to hold a lot, like Haney. Let's just say Haney, right? If Haney's mauling the guy and ragdolling them, it seems to me like a ref will let it happen more than he should, and then he'll break it up, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if he fights a very strong guy that can maul him, all of a sudden the ref could step in and immediately separate it, right? So that's where the discretion issue comes in. But I don't know, like to me, there should just be a universal way to handle that, like altogether. I think the ref discretion is leaving room for refs to make those judgment calls and abuse that power.
Yeah,
like that's just my opinion.
Human error, and depending on who's signing their check, for sure.
Well,
you know, right or wrong, that's what I'm seeing, because there's a lot of things that need to be corrected, and that's one of them. But of course, we cannot solve the world's boxing problems tonight. We're close. But before we get out of here, last words, D-Style, let you know what? No, I'm not. Ladies are first. Nika, you're first. Last words.
All right, so my next loss tonight, so
just
give me one more win. We just need one more win, next. One more win, please. I deserve this in life, please. So thanks to everybody. I have anything. I have not been arguing with people. I've been leaving these little boogers to fend for themselves and get their clout somewhere else, and I've just been chilling, minding my business, and drinking my water. So I want everybody to stay safe, and thank you for tuning in, giving us great commentary in the chats.
Yes.
Those are my final thoughts. Very nice, right?
Yes. Awesome. So D-Style, it's your turn, bruh.
One last thing that I wanted to mention about the holding.
About the holding?
I just don't think any style that needs the hookup from the ref, I just can't respect that style. So if you're always holding opponents...
Okay, wait, hold on. You said any style that calls for holding?
Hold on. Any style that depends a hookup from a referee to help you.
Okay.
It's not... I just don't think that's a good style.
Right.
So if you're holding opponents and then the ref comes in and he breaks it up and I just think that you're getting help from a referee.
Yeah,
that's the way I see it. And the rules are allowing that. The way they're doing it is allowing that to be an effective strategy. Yeah. So what do? So in when it comes to basketball, the shot clock is actually a new concept in the history of basketball. Maybe not in our lifetimes, we're used to it now, but there was a time where there was no shot clock in basketball. So what would teams do? That the four-corner offense, and they would just be passing it over and over again, just keeping the ball away from the defense. And whenever they chose to, they would attack the basket, right? But that at some point became unwatchable. It may have been effective, right, within the rules, but it was unwatchable. So therefore, they made a shot clock. Now, look, I don't think we need a shot clock or punch clock or anything like that. But we just need the referees to get stricter when it comes to those situations.
Yeah, do their job. There's a time to hold. If you get stunned, you're off balance, you grab your guy until they say. And then as far as the running, as people say, I mean, it's okay to move, stick and move a little bit, but excessive is excessive. So I think refs need to do their job for sure, because the boxers will do whatever you let them do.
Look,
I mean, how
Ray
many times
Leonard
have we
was
seen somebody hit somebody behind the head, and doesn't say anything, or push somebody down on the ground? They will do
100%.
whatever they're allowed.
Look, Muhammad Ali modeled his style from Sugar Ray Robinson, right? Ray Robinson, if you watch film of his, I mean, he's moving like it's almost like he's gliding around the ring. Unbelievable. But you know what he's doing? He's throwing combinations. You know what he's doing? He's throwing multiple punches, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
And I think that is necessary in my opinion. But you know another way to fix it. Well, then don't reward them to win. So Skull lost, and if Skull doesn't get a call back, no one's going to feel bad about it.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't get a call back, then that's going to send a message to boxers to not fight that way.
Maybe
that's another way to handle it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. No, I appreciate y'all so much in the chat. We have the best chat ever. You know, they always show up and show out, and I appreciate y'all switching to my girl Nika. She is A1, always here, you know, doing so much for me. So I have so much appreciation. You know, you always have good conversation, you know, even though you were late, we forgive you. But
I didn't see the link.
Everybody, no. Thank y'all so much, and thanks for the patience. I'm out here on the patio, like trying to like do everything. I don't have my ring light or nothing, but it's all good. We make it work. No matter what, we make it work. So everybody, we love to love you. Everybody have a good night, and we will see y'all next Wednesday.